Welcome to Mastering Life's Adventures, an educational podcast about tapping into your true self, the soul, the substance of your life, to discover what life's ups and downs are really about, and how to have a greater sense of purpose, peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am Dr. Judith Holder, your host, coach, psychologist, fellow seeker who enjoys diving into the connections between spirituality, psychology, wellness, and your everyday life's adventures. All preparing and polishing you like the facets of a magnificent diamond to be your best self. If you're craving more from your life, you are in the right place. Come, let's journey together and transforming what you know into who you really are. Mastering Life's Adventures begins now.
You heard me talk about distractions, and today I want to talk about multitasking because it is a form of distraction, but it's also seen as quote-unquote efficient. But spiritually, it's draining because your soul doesn't live in fragments. It lives in the now. You can juggle your schedule, screens, responsibilities, but you can't juggle your consciousness. The soul doesn't multiply itself. It magnifies itself. Today, we're exploring a countercultural truth. Single tasking is a spiritual discipline that grounds you, restores clarity, and reconnects you with divine flow. Hi, I'm back with another key to soul progress. In your growth, the key may surprise you. It's not about what you do, but how you do it. We live in a world that glorifies multitasking, fast switching, constant output, do more, be more, achieve more. But your soul, it thrives on presence, depth, and devotion. Single tasking is just not practical, it's sacred. It's how the soul realigns with its true rhythm. It's how the spirit works through you. Because when you give yourself wholly to one thing, you invite the divine wholeness and holiness into that thing. So our key is really focused around single tasking, not multitasking. Let me tell you a story. Rena, a client I once coached, came to me exhausted and he said, I feel like I'm always behind. I'm answering emails while cooking dinner, listening to a podcast while folding laundry, half hearing my kids while scrolling my phone. Her energy was frayed, like dozens of open tabs on a computer that's about to crash. So I gave her a strange assignment. For 1 week, I want you to do just one thing at a time. And she laughed. That's impossible. My life doesn't work that way. But she tried. One evening, she told me, I started chopping vegetables with no music, no distractions, and suddenly I could feel the rhythm of the knife, the texture of the food, the scent of the herbs. I felt peace. I was fully present in my body. That felt holy. And that's the hidden truth of single tasking. It transforms the mundane into the sacred. Presence turns chores into prayers. So why does multitasking drain us so deeply? Because each time you switch tasks, a part of your energy lags behind. Your body moves on, but your soul stays stuck, still processing. Multitasking is spiritual fragmentation. You probably have never thought about it that way, but it is spiritual fragmentation. 1,000 tiny cuts to your consciousness. Imagine pouring water into 5 cups at once. Each get a little, but none fills completely. Now imagine pouring into 1 cup until it overflows. That's what single tasking does. It creates overflow, coherency, power. Your attention is the instrument of your soul. Where it scatters, your power scatters. Where it focuses, your light gathers. And that's when you begin to radiate. Multitasking equals spiritual leakage. Single tasking equals spiritual coherence. And it's the coherence we want, trying to be in the center of that fullness, that wholeness. And when you do one thing fully, everything in you aligns: mind, body, heart, spirit, and soul. You become a clear channel for divine wisdom. There's a rhythm to the soul. We think about rhythm in music, but there's also a rhythm to the soul. It's never rushed. It moves in cycles, breaths, and focus. When you wash a dish with full attention, you align with divine order, with that divine rhythm. When you walk and listen deeply to the sound of your footsteps, you step in rhythm with the universe. One of the greatest deceptions of modern life is that speed equals progress. But in soul or spiritual truth, death equals progress. A wise teacher once said, "He who hurries cannot dwell in the temple." The temple is the moment you are in. When your mind rushes ahead or lingers behind, you're outside the temple gates. When you are here fully, you step into the sanctuary of the present. And therefore, the soul receives its guidance. There is an old story of a young monk eager to advance quickly on his path. And he said to his master, "I want to reach enlightenment faster. I'll double my efforts. I'll meditate day and night." And the master smiled and handed him a bowl filled to the brim with water. Walk to the edge of the courtyard without spilling a drop. The monk rushed forward, and of course, the water spilled. And the master said, "Try again, but this time walk as though this bowl were your life." And the monk slowed down, step by step, being deliberate. Every breath became a prayer. Every motion became devotion. He reached the edge without a drop lost. The master said, "This is the pace of awakening." Single tasking is the bowl of water. It teaches the soul to move deliberately, intentionally, to honor the sacred in the simple. So how do you begin to apply some of this? Not with pressure, but with intention. Here are 5 things you can think about that could help you and choose just one or two of them. Set intentional start points. Before you begin any task, pause, breathe, say inwardly, I offer this fully. This single moment of intention changes the quality of your energy. Remember, I offer this fully. You offer it fully to your highest being, the Christ, the Atman, Jesus, the Creator, your Lord. I offer whatever I'm doing in this task fully to you. Number 2, silence external noise. Turn off notifications, step away from the hum of distractions. Let your soul settle like sand and water that slowly clears to reveal light at the bottom. Number 3, infuse every action with devotion. When you wash dishes, bless the hands that cooked and the mouths that will eat. When you write emails, write them with clarity and care and kindness. When you fold laundry, fold gratitude into every garment. These acts may seem small, but small acts done with great patience create ripples of harmony across the soul. And number 5, close with presence. When the task ends, whatever you are doing, be it the email or starting a task or trying to be more devotional in the acts that you do, washing dishes or doing laundry or talking to your family member or talking to a colleague, remember, at the end, stop, pause, take one deep breath and say, it is complete. And say, thank you. Completion seals the energy and teaches your soul to move with flow, not fragmentation. And I want to talk a little bit about the science of stillness, because stillness is the bridge between spirit and mind. Modern neuroscience tells us that mystics have always known multitasking splits your prefrontal cortex, the very part of your brain that integrates logic, empathy, and awareness. When you single task, the brain synchronizes its waves. Heart rate, cortisol drops, creativity rises. But there's more than brain chemistry at play. On a spiritual level, when your energies are unified, you become a vessel of divine clarity. Stillness invites revelation. And when your outer world stills, your inner world begins to speak. Many people say, I never hear divine guidance. But the truth is, they're multitasking their prayers, asking and scrolling, meditating and worrying, listening and planning. When you single task your prayer, when you sit in stillness and give your full presence, the answers come. So what am I saying for you to be able to be more attuned to? Our process of being single-eyed vision, to see things and to do things in a very conscious and intentional way. Because what we're talking about is the alchemy of attention. There's a quiet alchemy that happens in single tasking. Intention transforms energy. Think of sunlight through a magnifying glass. Scattered light is warm. Focused light ignites fire. Your soul's light works the same way. When you focus your full being on one thing, whether it's a conversation, a task, or a breath, you ignite transformation. You make the invisible visible. This is how the spiritual masters lived. Every act, walking, eating, speaking, was infused with presence. Every moment became meditation. Fully present, fully aware, fully being in the now. You can live that way too. Not in a monastery, but in your daily life. Presence is not about where you are, it's about how you are. When you focus fully, your light gathers. And where light gathers, darkness dissolves. There can be no darkness. Where there is light, there is usually harmony. There is usually peace. There's usually a greater sense of tying into something greater than yourself, tying into a flow that is vast, that gives the answers, that guides you, that helps you, that attunes you. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to do this 24/7, but it does mean that we need to begin somewhere to move ourselves into a single focused awareness. Even if we just practice it for a short period of time in your day, you will start to see the difference between when you're multitasking and when you're singly focused on the now, experiencing the stillness of the now. Because it is in that stillness that God, the soul, Jesus, the Lord, speaks to you and tries to guide you, because you are singly focused on the here and the now, and the sanctity and the holiness of the now. In modern day living, you too can be able to do that. What I'm saying is, your soul, if you're on a spiritual path, whatever that path may be, your soul doesn't need you to move faster. It needs you to move truer, more present, more holy, more whole. Every act done with full presence becomes a spiritual offering. That's the cool thing. It becomes a spiritual offering that you're giving up to your higher source. As we talked about in previous episodes, it's like a figure eight flow. It flows down to you. Greater wisdom, awareness, love, peace, joy, attunement. As you are more devotional, your higher self, your inner self, becomes more attuned to that devotion. Every act done with full presence becomes a spiritual offering. Every focused moment becomes a moment of transformation. So I invite you this week to try living one moment at a time, wholly, deliberately, beautifully. Because when you master the art of single tasking, you're not just managing time. You're mastering consciousness. And you're learning how to transcend time. And things that would have taken so long to be able to do, because you've been tying yourself into being fully present and doing one task at a time, you are actually living in a flow that transcends time. You're living in a flow that gives a greater wholeness and healing to your soul. You're living in the flow of heart-centeredness. In that heart-centeredness, is where the love grows. We know when we have a passion for something that we're doing, time seems like it just escapes us. It goes out the door. Time transcends itself. And we're finding that we are able to do so much more in this realm of time because of the love and the commitment and the single focus that we were willing to do to achieve whatever that task was, or whatever that hobby that we were doing, or the conversation that we had, or being fully present with our children. Something to think about. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining me for this episode on Mastering Life's Adventures, being your best self through soul evolution. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, I would be delighted if you would share this episode with others, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to my Mastering Life's Adventures podcast. Look forward to your joining the next episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you might have below. Bye for now.